One day while exploring the Altair system, deep in Freestar Collective space, we receive a distress call.
This is Research Outpost U-309 to any and all Freestar Collective craft. We are under heavy fire. Hostile spacers are overrunning our position on Altair 2. I'm not sure how much longer our outpost can hold on. We don't have much time. Private Mahoney out.
Members of the Freestar Collective are under attack from spacers. We just arrived at Altair 4, but this distress call came from Altair 2. So, moving to the nearby planet, we can trace the distress call to a research outpost. Landing there, we discover Research Outpost U-309, and we find the exterior swarming with spacers.
Shh. Something's out there. We can handle this. Right. And moving on.
He's picking us off!
With the spacers dealt with, we can loot the exterior, where we find a bunch of UC Marine corpses. What were United Colonist Marines doing at a Freestar Collective research outpost? When ready, we can open the main door to enter the research outpost. Inside, we find evidence of a slaughter. There are a few dead spacers, yes, but mainly we find the corpses of dead scientists. So it looks like the spacers attacked a Freestar Collective lab. Some Freestar soldiers came to defend the scientists here, but got overwhelmed. I wonder how old that distress signal is. Will we find any Freestar soldiers still alive? Checking the doors on this lower level, we find that most of them are locked or inaccessible. Same with the top level. We only find one door we can interact with on the bottom level to the right. Opening the door, we find more spacers.
It's on now! Too much!
This hallway is clear, but we find spacers in the room to the left.
I smell credits! The end. Look at me, though! God! This is it. You're not taking me out!
After clearing the room, we find a slate on a control console. Draft of reinforcement request. U-309 reinforcement request. I do not believe you understand the tactical situation. We cannot wait 1 week. We cannot wait even 1 day. We need reinforcements now, or it's... And whoever wrote this couldn't complete the draft. Clearly it was a dire situation. Private Mahoney must be part of the reinforcements that eventually arrived, but looks like they arrived too late if we find all of the scientists dead. We find a staircase leading down in this room, but there was another room on the other side of this hallway. Crossing the hallway, we see the end of the hallway blocked in with furniture. In this next room, we tiptoe between scientist corpses to discover that the only door in this room is locked as well. So our only way forward is to go back into the first room and head down the staircase. At the bottom of the stairs, we open a door into a large room. We find a number of great chests here, plenty of loot, but no enemies. So, crossing the room, we enter a hallway to find a door to the bathroom and a door to storage. On the other side of the bathroom door is a long hallway filled with corpses, but we don't see any enemies yet. Opening the bathroom, we can check each and every one of these stalls. We find a huge fount of blood spatter on one of these toilets. Ah, what a way to go. Looks like whoever caused that spatter limped away and died elsewhere. Unless it's this guy over here. Ugh. Out of the bathroom, instead of proceeding down the hallway, we can open the door to storage. And here we find Private Mahoney.
Ugh, thank God. I figured if I talked myself hoarse on the comms, the cavalry would come. I was expecting some Freestar militia, but any port in a storm, I guess.
What are you doing in a closet?
When comms was overrun, I did a tactical retreat to this utility closet. Hey, I'm just glad I'm in one piece.
Well, we know these guys are part of the Freestar Collective. But this character has actually joined the UC Vanguard. I wanted to see how they would respond knowing that the Vanguard came here to help. So we can pass the United Colonies Vanguard captain check to say, actually, you got the UC Vanguard to thank.
The what? As if this couldn't get any weirder. Before Spacers broke into the outpost, I was relaying orders for Lieutenant Torres. Torres ain't bad as far as COs go, but we'd have been flat out murdered if it weren't for the, and I can't believe I'm saying this, the UC Marines. So, and this is important. You see a Marine, don't shoot. They're friendlies.
Just a few years ago, that would be unthinkable. My, how things have changed.
Both of these characters are referencing the recent colony war. The Freestar Collective and the United Colonies had a bitter, awful war that recently ended, which makes it surprising to learn that a detachment of UC Marines already landed here before us to help these Freestar Collective out. We can say, didn't you guys fight a war with them not too long ago?
We most certainly did. The whole situation isn't exactly standard operating procedure. After we clear the outpost, I'll talk your ear off about the whole situation. But right now, clock's ticking.
Hey, anyone willing to fight Spacers is good in my book.
No arguments here. So first things first, the makeshift infirmary isn't gonna hold. They set up on the ground floor in the security section. The whole place is on lockdown, so you'll have to find a way there. Talk to, Lazama. He's the only thing between them and... well, you get the picture.
Can you give me the tactical breakdown?
When Torres triggered the lockdown, I was with Lazama and the doctor in security, but the lockdown cut us off. Last I knew, Torres was fighting in the complex. Somewhere. The Marines were guarding the back entrance. No idea what's up with them, but that intel's old. Sorry, that's all I got.
Don't worry. I'll make sure the infirmary stays safe.
You are something else. Be safe, be bold. A dead soldier ain't no help to no one.
So Torres is still fighting somewhere in this complex. The UC Marines were guarding a back entrance, but that intel is old. So really, we could find them anywhere. Private Mahoney races off ahead of us. And as we take our time looting bodies and exploring, she catches the attention of Spacers down the hallway and around the corner. We find her toppled over. Into the next room, we find another dead Spacer. Looks like she took out one at least. Mahoney sits here for a bit. We can't offer her a med pack or anything, but at least now she's out of the way. But while we're distracted, more Spacers arrive.
Come on. We have other things to do right now.
With that, we clear the Spacers in this room. We find a number of containers to loot, but to move forward, we head up some steps and through a door to arrive at the bottom of some stairs. However, before going up, we can open a door to the right, which leads to a utility room. Here we find a number of containers and some scrap. But while we're busy, Spacers come down the stairs.
You think that hurt?
Creeping up the stairs, we arrive at the top and begin picking off the rest.
On me! Company! Need assistance! No! Everyone! Move up! Cook one in the face! You should be the one dying. Moving! I can't see! Put fire on him!
With the room clear, we see that we are flanked on either side by a number of locked doors. Only a few are open. One leads to a cafeteria with more dead scientists. These Spacers just came in and murdered people where they sat. At the end of the hall, we find a door to the comms center. This must be the makeshift infirmary we've been looking for, because inside, we find Corporal Lazama.
This is it.
What? You think he's a spacer? He's the one that cleared him out. Corporal Lazama, UC Marines, medic. We thought we were done for. And meet the esteemed doctor. Musa, right? It's his party we're crashing.
Are the wounded okay?
We've lost too many good soldiers and scientists to the spacers. But everyone here is stable and will recover. assuming we can clear the outpost of spacers.
Private Mahoney sent me.
Mahoney's a machine. She's wasted on this rock. And this... what the heck are you guys doing here anyway? Doctor. Doctor!
Yes. Yes. Astrobiology. We study non-Terran life forms in the settled systems. We, seek to understand the various flora and fauna and search for practical uses.
What sort of uses are we talking about?
Medicinal, industrial, or just understanding how life propagates. We work purely on non-military applications. It's part of our charter.
Well, I don't think the spacers care about your research. No offense.
No. They've been trying to take over the whole system. For months.
Listen, we can't waste time. The Freestar CO, Lieutenant Torres, he locked down the complex. I'm not sure how long he can keep his troops safe.
Last I saw Torres was on the 3rd floor, near my office.
Take this key and get to Torres. It should open everything except the security doors. Get to Torres before his men are wiped out. Good luck.
Well, it sounds like when spacers are involved, old animosities are put aside. Corporal Azama here is with the UC, and he's sending us to check on the welfare of Lieutenant Torres of the Freestar Collective. This makeshift infirmary is filled with cots. We find scientists and UC Marines recovering in their own blood. Corporal Azama is a medic, which is why he stayed behind here in the infirmary, which means there may be more UC Marines deeper in the facility. We'll have to keep our eyes open and be careful of friendly fire. After looting the dead in this room, we can finish exploring the rooms below us. We just find bodies piled upon bodies. These poor scientists. On the table in the cafeteria, we find a slate, "No more target practice." The lieutenant shut down the firing range, says the noise disturbed the scientists on their power walking breaks. Goofiest thing I ever saw. The scientists pumping their arms and walking circles around the building, their faces all intense, like they're in a battle. Doesn't Torres know that target practice serves a purpose? It keeps our edge. I'm not sure what the hell their walking does. So Lieutenant Torres was here before the spacers attacked. Torres and company weren't the reinforcements, they were the guards stationed here to try and protect these scientists. It was only after the spacers attacked that they sent out a request for reinforcements, and presumably recorded the distress call that we heard. With this level explored, we continue by using the key card that we were just given to open the locked door to the staircase. Heading up the stairs, we arrive on a level with more spacers.
The mark's mine.
Show some hustle! Shit! I'm gonna find you! Shit! One down!
And here we find the bodies of UC Marines. How many UC Marines died to protect Freestar scientists and Freestar soldiers?
For mercy!
We methodically clear this level, going room to room, opening locker after locker. We hear spacers talking. They're probably coming from upstairs. But we can finish our work on this level. While exploring every nook and cranny, we get attacked by spacers from a nearby lab.
Never mind!
After they're dispatched, we can explore this lab. Lots of equipment all over the place, presumably all used for non-military applications, if the scientists are to be believed. And of course, plenty of bodies. But that clears this level. So to continue, we head upstairs.
You picked the wrong fight! You're going down!
But we arrive at a huge window in front of us, and we're flanked on either side by more spacers. We'll have to play this cautiously. Or maybe we could just use the shoddy.
Find some damn cover. They'll pay for that. Fill it with holes.
And it does the job. Loving this little thing. With that, we clear all of the spacers and all of the little rooms on this level, heading back to the staircase. To regain our point of reference, we can methodically loot this entire floor. Lockers to the right, filled with digipicks and loot. There's a small lab to the right of the main room, with a few bodies inside. Heading out and going to the right of the main room, we see a staircase leading down, where we find the body of a UC Marine. Looks like this is the way the Marines chased the spacers. We'll probably have to go that way. I wanted to see what was down there, so creeping down, we find another dead Marine and 2 remaining spacers.
Won't get me, though. I found a son of a bitch.
And he fled, chasing him down. Whew. Well, we got him. Going back to the staircase, we can explore this lower level, but we find all of our avenues blocked, either by furniture or with locked doors. So we can't go this way yet. Heading back up the stairs, we can finish looting and exploring this top level. Now into the main room with the big window, where we find lots of med packs and plenty of bodies to loot. Into the hallway where we did the spacer massacre with our shoddy. We can loot the bodies, and we find a number of scientist corpses. There's a big container here, which must have contained some fauna that the scientists were experimenting on. And with everything looted, our only way forward is to open a door to the head of research. And here we find Lieutenant Torres.
Like I said, someone's been taking out the spacers.
I don't believe it. We've lost so many people. Are they all gone?
Thanks to the stranger, every last one of them is down. Some fancy work there. How many more are there with your unit? You got sniper support or something?
Oh, you know, I gave the snipers the day off. And the artillery, too.
Wait, you're serious? You did all of that?
You're welcome. No pictures, please.
We have to help Captain Myeong. She's behind the barrier door.
But she's not Freestar, Lieutenant. Our first priority is our men and our scientists.
She came in to save us, Sergeant, when no one else would. I will not leave her out to dry.
The United Colonies came here to help? What?
We were hours from being overrun, and then Myeong and her Marines landed. And they saved us. We were desperate, so we just welcomed them. Together, we've managed to hold the outpost. Why the captain came to our aid? Oh, you'd have to ask her.
Well, I look forward to meeting this Captain Myeong.
She's something else.
But Lieutenant, they're the UC. We can't...
Sergeant, I am ordering you to help us save those Marines. But how?
We got a security override key. If the Marines are still alive, they'll be by the other entrance. We all work together. We should be able to save them. Or die trying.
There are soldiers that need us. Are you up for it? We could really use your help.
Gotta say, this Sergeant Dasari is pretty cold-blooded. If the UC land here to help them in response to their distress call, presumably, it'd be pretty brutal for her to reach safety and then just leave. It's a good thing Lieutenant Torres is her superior. He's not willing to repay their favor by allowing them to die. We can say, I won't see good Marines die.
Good.
Here's the security key. You take point. The captain's down one floor.
We've secured the Freestar soldiers. We've secured the medic and any surviving scientists. Now we've got to go save the UC Marines who came here to help the Freestar Collective. After looting this lab, which includes a stack of cred sticks, hey, and plenty of ammunition, we can make our way back to the staircase that goes down into that one room. Remember, the doors were all locked down there, but now we have a key. We can use the key to unlock the door to reception, but that leads to an area that we already explored. So we'll then use the key to open the door to an office. Here we find Captain Myeong.
Do the Marines proud!
Let's move!
Just in time! As soon as we open the door, they get swarmed by spacers.
You'll pay for that! Not worth dying over. My eyes!
The shoddy does its work.
I didn't think I'd see you again, Torres.
So glad you militia rats finally showed up. Could have used you before Dalton bought it.
Stand down, Private. What matters is they're here now. And who the hell do we have here? Another scientist?
No. Truthfully, we would still be pinned down if it weren't for them.
Well, I'll be.
Lieutenant Torres and his Freestar soldiers came to help us, and when the battle is over, we can talk to Captain Myeong of the United Colonies.
Huh. You don't got the look of a Marine. Certainly not the militia. Who are you?
Well, since we've joined the Vanguard, we can pass a United Colonies Vanguard captain check to say, no, but I'm in the Vanguard.
Huh. More UC bailing the FC out. Captain Myeong, UC Marines.
Veteran of the Colony Wars, the shield of Parduk Pass. Best damn Marine in the service.
And that loudmouth is Private Psy. If she wasn't such a hell of a soldier, she'd be polishing latrines for the next decade. You've saved lives here, and that is something I won't forget.
Even I've heard of you. You're a big deal in the UC.
I just managed to stay alive, mostly. Don't believe everything you see on the news.
The news is really more of a boring reality show most of the time.
The captain and all her Marines. Oh, we'd all be dead if it weren't for them.
You lot may be Freestar, but you're Groundpounders first. I wasn't about to let you all die ignobly to those rabid spacer bastards.
We begin to understand her motive. She didn't care that they were part of a faction that the UC was at war with up until recently. She saw them as soldiers, just like her and her Marines. She recognized the nobility and sacrifice of their service, and she couldn't stand by and watch them die to a bunch of space pirates. We can learn more about her by saying, what happened at Parduk Pass?
War happened. Parduk Pass is a graveyard now. Lots of good soldiers, both sides, are buried there.
Captain Myeong held that pass for a week against the best mechs the Freestar could throw at us. When she pulled out, she blew up the whole damn pass. Took out a full mech battalion. Might have saved the entire Nera front.
Don't believe the propaganda, Private. Parduk Pass was dirty business all around.
We get to explore Parduk Pass by continuing with the UC Vanguard questline. We are sent there to repair a robot a little bit later in the game, and we can see her handiwork. We see destroyed mechs as far as the eye can see. The place is now overrun with monsters and a few brave scavengers. But back to Captain Myeong, we can say, that's why you're helping them? You guys were at war not too long ago.
Look around. Nobody here is my enemy. Torres and his men, they're just poor SOBs posted in the arse end of nowhere. Just like my Marines. We have more in common with each other than the damn politicians back home.
Damned fine to meet you, Captain.
You've got spirit. That's what we need right now. We've bought ourselves an old-fashioned stay of execution here, but it won't last long. The bastards are disorganized, undisciplined rabble. But they got spaceships and we don't. That means they can keep dropping reinforcements until they greatly outnumber us. Then the cowards will hit us. Hard.
Can't we just leave?
Your ship can't get everyone away, and there's nowhere to run they can't drop people on. I don't think the spacers will give us enough time to properly fortify, but we can entrench, establish the fire lanes. We can make them walk through a goddamn kill field.
Then it sounds like we have our work cut out for us.
Give me a few years and I'd make you a Marine to be feared.
I have a more immediate problem, Captain. I have troops and civilians in the field. If we don't act, the spacers could take them out. I can't abandon them.
Damn it. What sort of leader would you be if you did? But we need every trained soldier to fortify and get the defenses back online.
Mahoney said their last transmission indicated they were in trouble. If you could perhaps take your ship to the research camp and clear out any spacers.
In for a penny, in for a pound, I guess.
I know this is asking a lot, but lives are at stake. Just go quickly and safely.
The spacers are coming back in their ships. Lieutenant Torres and Captain Myeong need to fortify this place, which means they can't help the researchers in the nearby lab. Looks like it's up to us. I suppose we don't have to help them. We could let them all die. But I'll never turn down an opportunity to kill spacers. While looting this room, we find a large science crate with an epic weapon inside, and lots of other goodies, and plenty of wonderful loot on all of the spacer corpses. After checking each and every one of these lockers, scrubbing every corner of this place, we can leave via the exit. This puts us on a balcony overlooking the lab. Heading to our ship, we find that Captain Myeong wants to meet with us at the landing pad.
Glad to know us Marines aren't the only ones crashing this party. These militia rats, they're better than I thought they'd be.
It's funny that even after the war, and even after sacrificing her own Marines to help these guys, she still describes Freestar soldiers as militia rats. At any rate, we can say, what do you think of Lieutenant Torres?
Torres is green, no two ways about it. But there's more to command than experience. There's heart. My guess is Torres has a bright future ahead of him.
Are you sure you're a UC officer?
Propaganda paints us all as villains and heroes. The truth's messier. We're all of us just human beings. With families, ideals, and empathy. I've seen too many of us poor bastards pay the price for some damned fool order from command. I've had enough.
Torres's good heart isn't enough to save us.
True enough. To get out of this, the price will be paid in blood.
What are you doing in Altair?
We operate a refueling depot. The brass back home got tired of spacers hitting the damn place, so they sent us. As soon as we showed up, the spacers went for easier targets. It's been one hell of a boring assignment until now.
So from this, we can deduce that the spacers attacked the lab because it was an easier target. The UC Marines moved into Altair space to defend a refueling depot. The spacers had a hard time harrying ships and UC Marines, so they went for civilian targets on the planet. I suppose you could say that if the Marines hadn't entered Altair space at all, the spacers would have never attacked the Freestar scientists on this planet. Perhaps Captain Myeong realizes this and felt that it was her responsibility to defend these people. Why did you really come to help out the Freestar?
I will not lie, I wrestled with it. We listened to the distress calls for hours, and it gnawed on me. At a certain point, I just couldn't sit on the sidelines and let them die.
I wonder why the Freestar didn't come to help. The distress call had been playing for hours and hours, and the Freestar Collective didn't send any reinforcements. Perhaps we'll learn why once we do the Freestar questline, but for now we can say, I couldn't just sit on the sidelines either.
You being here proves that. Since I've been here, I know what I did was right. Lieutenant Torres may be green, but he's a good man. His troops are brave, worthy of their uniform. Together we have a fighting chance. If I get court-martialed over this whole boondoggle, at least I can look myself in the mirror at night.
Would the UC really court-martial her? A colony war hero? For sacrificing her Marines to save the Freestar Collective? Maybe. But right now we've got a job to do. There are still civilians in danger. So heading to the ship, we can enter orbit and land on the other side of the planet, where we find another research camp. Disembarking, we fight our way through hostile fauna to arrive at the research camp, whereupon we find it already swarming with spacers. With the spacers dead, we can loot the place, and then open an airlock into a research pod. Inside the pod, we find civilian survivors and members of the Freestar militia.
There were too damn many of them. You saved us.
These spacers are terrible. Terrible.
Corporal Mahoney radioed you coming, but I didn't know if we could hold out. Not all of us made it. But you're a regular hero.
Whoops! She referred to Mahoney as a corporal here, but up until now, everyone has called her private. What happened here, we can ask?
Spacers dropped in some of their goons not too long ago. I managed to get most of us to the shelter. Anytime they approached the shelter, we managed to repulse them, but time wasn't in our favor. Then you showed up, thank God.
You should thank your lieutenant. He made sure you weren't left to die.
Torres did that. He's so damn green. But alright. Mahoney said for us to go to Grounds. There's a cave nearby we're going to hole up in until this is all over. Don't worry, I'll keep the civvies safe from here.
What a lack of respect for poor Lieutenant Torres. He sends us to save them, and what does she say? Wow, he's so green. Alright then, you're welcome. After looting this small camp, we can head outside. She mentioned something about a cave nearby where other survivors were hiding. I tried to find it, and I did find a cave, but there was nothing inside of it. Perhaps they were sheltering in some other cave. At any rate, with the civilians and the militia saved, we can head back to the ship. We need to check back in with Captain Myeong. She and Lieutenant Torres were setting up defenses in anticipation of another spacer attack. Hopefully this has given them plenty of time to fortify. Heading back to the research outpost on the other side of the planet, we can check in with them to see if they're okay.
Mahoney said the research camp is all clear. I don't know where we'd be without you.
Most likely decomposing in some unmarked grave. Good on you both for making that mission of mercy a priority. Our job is to protect the civvies and never leave a soldier behind.
The war isn't won yet. Tell me the plan.
Straight to business. Good. The Spacers haven't attacked yet, but they've been shuttling men down beyond the ridge. We cannot let them keep reinforcing, otherwise they'll overwhelm us. So we need to take out their ships.
You people really are keeping me busy.
The only rest a Marine gets is in the grave.
I concur with the captain. We can't hold out if we don't cut off their manpower.
The Spacers have 2 fighter groups. If you take those out, the enemies will be stranded. So launch that fancy ship of yours and get to work.
Oh, she recognized that I've got a fancy ship. I gotta admit, it is pretty fancy. I mean, it's a giant flying cargo crate, but I love it. Looks like we need to take out some squadrons. It's time for a good old-fashioned space dogfight. Heading back to the cockpit, we can orbit the planet. We find the first squadron heading this way, but currently orbiting Altair 1. Moving towards Altair 1, we can attack.
Enemy's got a beat on us.
First squadron defeated, we can loot the wreckages and then track down the next one. We find it currently orbiting Altair 5. Heading that way, we can get the jump on them.
Pound them to dust.
The Spacers have landed at the research outpost. With their squadrons in the sky defeated, we now need to defend the research outpost. Heading back to Altair 2, we can land at the research outpost, whereupon we find Lieutenant Torres and Captain Myeong under heavy assault. Sneaking in behind the spacers, we can try to take them out one by one.
Time to shine.
But we alert them all, so it's time for a little shotgun work.
Time to die. Nothing! You're going down!
We destroy this landing party, but another one lands behind us. As their dropship takes off, we can race forward to try and pick them off. But then another ship lands while we're in the middle of combat. It drops off another load of spacers.
Come on, let's finish this.
But after this ship leaves, no other ship returns. The spacers have certainly lost a lot. They'll think twice before attacking this research outpost again. With the exterior clear, we can check in with Lieutenant Torres.
Now it'll be back to guarding the depot.
So many people.
That's the price of command, Torres. Every decision leads to blood. You can drive yourself crazy with counterfactuals. Focus on the good you did. We did, here.
Sometimes you can't forget what was lost.
Some things, you never get over.
Altair's safe because of you. Both of you. I almost want to write back to the Freestar and ask them to give you a medal.
Now wouldn't that be the damnedest thing? I could put it on right next to my meritorious star. You'd save me a court-martial if you just give me your thanks. Might be you want your medal, though.
It doesn't much matter to me.
I know exactly how you feel.
I'm not sure if I would have done all this if the roles were reversed, Myeong. But I will never forget you.
You're young and you've got a future ahead of you. A bit of advice. I've been passed up for promotion more times than I can count because I've always stuck by my principles. There's a million ways the bastards in command will ask you to compromise. Little ways, big ways. Don't. It may hurt your career, but I look back with pride at my service. Especially today.
I'd listen to that advice, Torres.
You see?
I sincerely hope I never see you across the lines on the battlefield, Captain.
If you do, Lieutenant, I will do my duty.
Not if I do my duty first.
Soldiers, it's time to get out of the Freestar's hair.
This is our home.
With that, we complete the quest, Groundpounder. But looks like I missed a spacer. There we go. Now we're all cleaned up here. At the end of the day, Captain Myeong didn't see them as simply the Freestar Collective, a ragtag militia calling themselves soldiers. She saw them as people, as ground pounders like her, cogs in a vicious machine of war that grinds the blood out of soldiers and doesn't care about them. She had an opportunity to make sure that this didn't happen to a bunch of lowly ground pounders that the politicians making the decisions wouldn't have missed. soldiers they would have forgotten about. And I think that regardless of which faction we've decided to back, we can respect the decision of Captain Myeong, and truly hope that Torres and Myeong never face each other at opposite ends of the battlefield. I publish new Starfield episodes each and every week on my channel, and I have daily live streams of Starfield. So if you don't want to miss my next episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have already, but you still feel like you're missing out on my episodes, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I've got a new shirt in the shop. Why is it always mannequins? Celebrate your love or hatred of mannequins with my brand new design. This design comes on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes and in a wide array of colors. You can find it on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in another way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos, and they have access to ox emojis that they can use in my video comments and in the live chats of my live streams. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more Starfield videos.